All right. Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your April reading for 2022. So, we're going to go ahead and just get into it and see what's in store for you this April. Happy birthday to any April Tauruses out there and upcoming Taurus season. So, I know it's been a while since I've done these zodiac readings. Hopefully, this resonates with whoever it's meant to. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm really excited to do these zodiac readings because I feel like I've been disconnected from like the zodiac signs and the collective for a while. Very just like in my world, like not sure of what's happening. At the same time, it could just be a confidence issue. Like, I'll do pick a card readings and things like that, and I'll still be worried that I'm like not. I don't know. I'll like compare myself to other tarot readers, and they're like so specific. And I'm like listening to them, and I'm like, wow, now that's amazing. Like, I want to read like that. But every time I do my readings, it just comes out however I always tell them. And it's like, it's hard for me to tell if I'm really delivering any solid messages for people or if I'm just like a broken record, like stuck on repeat. That so that's something that I kind of go through personally. I'm not sure if any other tarot readers out there relate. But yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to do this reading, because I feel like when I get to tune in and do like zodiacs, especially that are not Pisces, since I'm a Pisces, then I feel like I'm really reading for someone out there instead of like just reading for myself. Like, that's another thing. When I'm doing like pick a cards, I'm like, am I just being am I projecting too much? Like, which I kind of think, and when you're just being honest and like quite self-aware, I don't think there's such a thing as too much projection there. It's like there's a lot of people out there with like no self-awareness or little less self-awareness, I don't know, that will like project things onto you, and it's like clearly some to put it lightly, conflicting energy there. But I kind of like the way I read with that like sort of projection energy where I'm like, it's not really a projection. I mean, it's projecting, but it's like conscious projecting where it's like at that point, maybe the real term would be more like reflecting. But I worry that I'm just being way too reflective and just talking about myself. But then like I'll get comments and people are like, reading 1 or reading 3, like so spot on, and yet again, and just really, really nice comments. So thank you everyone for the lovely comments. Wish I was saying this on like one of the pick a cards or like a general reading. So then like the channel would hear this because like, yeah, this is specifically for Taurus, but these are honestly just like my thoughts right now. But I wanted to not do a pick a card reading and to continue with the zodiacs because, yeah, I'm trying to get them done before April, and April is sneaking up on us. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days away. Basically, 1 week from now will be April 1st. So let's go ahead and get into it. What is your April looking like for you, Taurus? Brr, 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 brr. So we've got 6 of Swords, Temperance. So start of the month, it looks like you're really moving on here to more peaceful times. And there's the words assistance, encouragement, patronage. So I feel like this is saying Spirit is really assisting you and encouraging you to do this at this time. So start of April, It might have something to do with that. Just really wanting to move on from a certain period of your life, um, a certain way of life, a certain way of being. Yeah. And then we've got the Three of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Um, I feel like you're relaxing more throughout April. Like maybe you've been going through a lot of stresses in general. And April seems to be like a season or a month of more relaxation and like looking at work, career, life, looking at all of that through a more playful lens, lighthearted, more childlike, so to speak. I'm just going off of literally how cute this card is. Leo could be playing a role for any of you out there, or water energy as well, like a Pisces, since it's the King of Cups. But like there's like literally a fish necklace on the King of Cups. So King of Cups very much represents Pisces, but also just water energy in general. Um, this might not necessarily mean that you're associating with any of these energies. Also, Sagittarius, because the Temperance card, um, like, or let me rephrase that. This might not mean that you're like dealing with these specific types of like people that are these signs or anything or these placements, but just that these energies might be playing a really big role for you in the month of April, which I think makes quite a lot of sense because Leo energy is actually quite similar to Taurus energy in some ways. Um, yeah, like a playful seriousness to life. I feel like you both of those energies can kind of relate to that. I feel like Leo and Taurus might be like two signs that kind of like work really well together. It just is how I'm feeling for some reason. Like, yeah, from like experiences, I guess, of like just kind of like I can kind of like just see it. Like I can picture it for some reason. But yeah. Um, but before I flip these cards, like what else am I getting here? Yeah, I feel like you're being more understanding, um, and in other words, more emotionally mature about where you're at in life. Like more patient with yourself, more patient with where you're at on your journey. Um, you're just like trusting where you're at, you're trusting where things are going. Yeah. And then at the end of April, we've got the Five of Pentacles with the Four of Cups. And I feel like you're kind of like wanting to just like skip a few steps. Like you want to cut like it looks like you'd rather stay more in a comfort zone than you would in a difficult financial situation. Even though that seems to be what is sort of next on the journey for you, or like a necessary step when you like go through the journey of the Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is like you're getting to work on stuff, work on a project. The Four of Pentacles is like now you've got some stability there, but you are going to have to like have some movement and therefore spend some of that stability. And then there's like the Five of Pentacles where it's like now that you're expending them, you kind of have to like see it through, which is going to feel like a drain of resources, which might make you feel like you either end up back at the Ace of Pentacles or you make it to the Six of Pentacles, you know? And then the journey continues on from there. But it's like, yeah, it looks to me that like you're trying to just stay in the Three of Pentacles, trying to like multiply it until you have like a gazillion of them so that you don't have to deal with the Five of Pentacles at all. It looks like you're turning that down at the end of April. So it's like whatever you get saved up at the end of the month, it looks like you have opportunities where you could basically splurge or spend, or invest in some sort of way, but you might be choosing to save, is just kind of what I'm getting. So some of you might be really trying to budget right now. You're like really trying to play it safe, and you're like slowing down on maybe spending habits and are more focused on saving habits instead at this time. That's just what I'm getting from how the cards look to me. But, um, just take what resonates. Like some of you out there, obviously, like if you feel like at the end of the month, if you feel like taking up that offer to like send it and just kind of take a risk and like, you know, go through sort of some difficulties. Um, for example, like here's like two different ways this could play out. Like playing it safe could look like choosing to stay at your current home environment and saving more. And then it's like it's a situation you want to move away from, but you're choosing to save. And then another way where if you're not necessarily going to play it like safe, it's like you build up a little bit and then you choose to like take the risk and move. So it's like, yeah, moving will be stressful and be like kind of a difficult transition. Um, but you're getting out of a previous uh, environment that wasn't serving you. Um, or not serving you as well as your new environment would. So if you can kind of see how there's like two different ways that plays out, it just kind of depends like on what you want, on what brings you the most peace. To me, it looks like April, you're really starting the month off of really trying to take a very peaceful approach to life. So I feel like, and with the King of Cups, you're kind of going to feel it out. You're not going to like quickly make this decision, but you're going to actually consider both decisions, playing it safe or taking a risk. Like, and I feel like you're going to ultimately end up taking that risk. You're going to send it eventually and like make that move because like sometimes because there's like, oh, I'm gonna make that move, but like now's not the right time. Sometimes now is never the right time, and therefore the time is now. You know what I mean? So I feel like by the end of the month you're really getting there with that kind of vibe. So let's just kind of like look a little deeper into these just to be more clear what's going on. So at the start, we've got the satellite and the emperor. You're definitely moving forward and moving towards peace and smoother waters, moving towards like more stability and support, and towards like, yeah, more support. And I'll get into some other messages that I'm getting as well later, but hold on. And then towards the end of the month, we've got the Knight of Swords and the Comet. Yeah, there's this balance between really charging forward, charging ahead and making that decision, and like something in you holding you back, telling you to wait and to not be so quick to act, not to be so impulsive. So there's like a balance between those two energies going on there. Um, so I feel like this is more like making plans. I feel like at the end of April, you might not actually do the like spendy thing or do the um foundation shaking thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be because of finances. It's just something about your um like physical space, something about that, like your foundation being shook up or whatever. um your everyday reality, your day-to-day life, something like that. So it's like maybe at the end of the month, you might not be actually doing it, but instead deciding that you are going to be doing it. So I feel like you're really making decisions here, particularly at the end of the month, um, or starting at the mid towards to the end of the month. Yeah. And at the beginning of the month, you're definitely still taking action steps and going in the right direction. You're really letting your intuition guide you. Um, yeah. And I feel like you've accumulated quite a bit of stability, wealth, success, things along those lines. Confidence, literally peace and joy. I feel like you've really come a long way, Taurus. And then, yeah, the other message I was getting that earlier I referenced it, um, going towards more support. There's also this keyword companionship, and the Three of Pentacles to me is the card of teamwork, working together on a project or a plan. So you're approaching a solid team, possibly a trio of, yeah, just really solid people, trustworthy friends, loved ones, companions, um, that you feel like you've really grown a lot with this team emotionally. You've really gotten to know each other a lot. And for those of you who haven't met that team yet, then this might be that you're meeting this team and you might like really hit it off with them right away, possibly more towards in the center of the month. But it can be like at the start, it can, and of course, like I was saying, it could be like a team that you've already been getting to know, some close loved ones or friends that, yeah, you really trust at this point, that despite any shaky times, if you've had conflict before, you're moving to smoother waters now, feeling more receptive to working as a team. So, yeah. So, let's go ahead and just look at your final messages here for your overall reading of this month. And then I think we'll do like a career and love reading section as well. So we've got onward, to reunite, card 59. So this is the onward card, which is very funny because we're talking about forward movement and charging ahead. And the card that we got, I wrote these, I came up with these like, I don't know, 2 years ago. But the very card is the onward card at the start of the month. So it really does look like you're moving forward and you're feeling ready to really come together with your team again. So some of you have maybe been in some really deep introspective mode for some time, kind of on your own. Perhaps, like spending a lot of alone time. And it just feels like you're ready to like really reconnect, even if it's just with like a few close people. These are like people that you really trust, that you've known for a while or for a long time, maybe your whole life. It just really depends on your specific circumstance. Um, and then again, for those of you where it's more like meeting new people, you're going to feel like an instant connection, so to speak, where you feel a lot of trust. Um, and then it could be that, like, even though that's the case, you're still not sure and you still want to get to know them more. You're like not sure if like you're ready to make certain risky decisions with this new group of people or whatever. Even if they're not a new group of people, you just might not be quite sure if you're ready for the team, the trust building exercise to be really tested. You're like, are we ready? Some of you it's like, we've only met just now. I'm not sure if we're ready yet. Others of you are like, I don't know. We've been through rocky waters before. We just got to some stable situation. Are we really ready to rock the boat again? Like, with some sort of like big move like that, something along those lines. So you'll be like wondering and reflecting on that. But I feel like you're most likely gonna do it. Like, this is like a solid team or like person if it's not multiple people. The last card for the end of the month is card 42, reliable. Comeback time. So yeah, it's like you're wondering if these connections are reliable, and to me this is indicating that they are, and that at the end of the month you'll see that, or in the moment that you're not sure, they'll really shine and show that they're there for you, and that reliability will just kind of like shine through any of your like uncertainty, I guess, or shine through your comfort zone of like not going to what's next. It's kind of like you're already content with just the 3 of Pentacles when you could keep going forward and obtain even more for yourself on your journey. You're like, this is already good. It's like you like these fun times and you don't want it to get more complicated because you're worried about all the potential risks about choosing to aim farther. So it's like you really wanted to move towards peace, and then you manifested some really solid support and abundance for yourself. And once that started happening, you became really content with it already. And now it's like there's the potential to really keep aiming higher, but you're like, dang, I kind of already got somewhere pretty good. I don't know. Um, it's like with this like place that's already pretty good, you're like, this is reliable, this is what I know. But yeah, I feel like you're going to push through that barrier and choose to continue because there's definitely even more for you to experience on your journey. So I feel like April's nice and you're definitely getting somewhere, and that there's a lot of contentment throughout the month, hopefully, for those of you that this resonates with, like feeling really content and quite at peace with your journey and joyful, and that there's like some fun and excitement, as well as like productive things to do that you'll be doing just like naturally on your own. But I feel like there's even more on the way, like throughout May, June, July, and so forth. But for the long haul, that's going to be quite the journey, and I feel like that might be a little overwhelming for some of you listening, because it's like, again, you feel pretty good about the way things are now, and you know that by going forward, by time moving forward, which is inevitable, that things are going to change and therefore bring discomfort of sorts, of further challenges and stresses. And it's kind of like you're tired of challenges and stresses right now. You really like feeling comfortable. You really like feeling stability. So it's like it already took a lot for you to get to this point where you were willing to like really move forward at this point in your life, and change happened so fast, and it was positive change. Now it's like you get to the end of the month and you're like, again? You're They're like, no. So some like maybe internal um energy, internal issues perhaps like kind of comes up within you where you're like realizing that change is kind of a constant, that like how long it took you to kind of like go through the flow of change just this once, like the idea of doing that often, you're just kind of like seeing like through the lens of how it could feel to be like a Pisces or like someone who like constantly is adapting and going through changes moment by moment, every single moment in their life. You know, you're like kind of like realizing what kind of like how heavy of an experience that could be and how that could make it difficult to like get to just experience your journey and get to like be chill or whatever and do things. You're like kind of like understanding and learning more about that by going through it yourself, realizing that that's part of what this journey is all about. Like accepting what the universe has to offer and the challenges and discomfort that comes with all these changes. Um, and realizing that as you open up to those possibilities, that the growth and change is quite endless. Which might sound kind of overwhelming, but I feel like how the reading went, it's like you kind of get to go your own pace, Taurus. So try not to worry too much about that. Three of Pentacles is here again. Again, I feel like you've got something a lot more solid, and that the changes that are ahead on your journey, like in May, June, and so forth, are going to be like doable. And I feel like it'll be a lot easier to go through these changes than previous ones in the past, in the recent past, even. Like the last few years, all these changes might have been quite a shock to your foundation in a very like difficult to process way, difficult to see how people could like I don't know how life could still go on like in a way, if that resonates with any of you out there. um and it's like now you're kind of like seeing it better and you're like living in that feeling of peace. Yeah. And yeah, that's like the general reading for April, Taurus. So let's look into career messages. Ten of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Sun. Well, all of those are positive. In fact, the Hierophant is the card that represents Taurus, like doing what you feel you're meant to be doing, living your truth, and just like living it confidently, not even really needing to question what you're doing. Like, yeah, you're just kind of like on your path, and you've always been pretty good at just like feeling like comfortable with your role in life or with like whatever path you've been on or pursuing. I feel like Taurus is actually quite good at that. Just being like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And then like not like having to really question that so much. Um, and then the Ten of Cups is a card of like ultimate fulfillment, happiness, um, joy and contentment, success. The Sun is known to be like the most positive card in the deck. These are literally all positive cards for you, Taurus. So just very quickly, I just think like financially or when it comes to your work life or career or just life, um, your sole purpose, so to speak, I feel like you feel really solid, happy, content with the life you've built for yourself, and that you actually have like a lot of the bigger picture kind of just already put together in your world. Even though whatever that general reading was talking about, you maybe have a new project and that's something that's like brand new that's still like building. But when it comes to like overall, like having a place of sustainability and everything, you've got that you've got that down. Having like a team or a family, so to speak, a home, this to me indicates you've got that down. And for those of you who may not feel so much like that, April's kind of like giving you hope, letting you know that that's the path you're on, and that April is going to bring you a lot of blessings and signs, specifically signs, like if you see rainbows, um, just whatever's a sign to you that you're on the right path, you'll know. It's like Taurus, I feel like you got certain signs where you're like, that's a sign for me. That's a sign. That's a sign that means this. And some of you might be more like reflective about signs where you're like, whoa, I wonder what that means. But I feel like for the most part, these signs are going to be like rather clear. You're going to know kind of like exactly what they mean. And they just bring a lot of positivity and joy into your life. Because they manifest into your life like rather quickly. So, yeah. So I feel like you're going to be given offers from the universe or experiences that just like bring you gifts. Yeah. Gifts, presents, money, um, opportunity, offers. It's like maybe it's even someone recognizing your worth at what you do for a living, and then you're offered like a gig or a job or whatever, you know? So it's like someone really liked your resume, your life resume, you know? The universe really likes it. And yeah, something along those lines. So if any of you are kind of like looking for something like that, some really positive like work, so to speak, positive activities to do, I feel like that's manifesting for you throughout April, literally just throughout all of it. And I feel like it's kind of been like that for some of you for quite a while. So let's go ahead and just get some love messages to finish the reading. So, love messages for April. 9 of Wands, okay, the Wheel of Fortune, the 3 of Cups. So, maybe when it comes to love, perhaps things have been more on pause. So, career and all of that maybe has been really good, but your love life specifically, feel like you've been left really deeply wounded and that you've really had your guard up for however long, but it looks like you're like really ready to get out there. You're like maybe still recovering now, Taurus, but like with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like fate smiles upon you or whatever. Fortune is in your favor. Like like with this resting period brings you to a really good place because then you're like open for some actual solid friends. I feel like your love message, Taurus, is more about friendships, making connections that like actually like are full of trust and things like that. So healthier friendships, healthier connections. It can be renewing existing connections and therefore those connections are becoming healthier. So something along those lines. That's what I'm getting for you. We're gonna just clarify these cards because I feel like I didn't really want to continue in the career messages because it was just like so positive and I just felt like you already kind of like have a solid idea of how that's all going. So clarifying this, 5 of Wands with the 9 of Wands. That's saying maybe you've really been on this break for a long time because you've really been at conflict about a connection or about something really specific when it comes to love. Really deeply conflicted and wounded and keeping your guard up when it comes to getting close to someone again or getting close to someone in general when it comes to romance. Like, there's this very specific character on this show I watch, and like characters like falling in love sort of, but they're like, no, this is supposed to be the year of me, and they don't want a relationship holding them back type of a thing, like because they had already been hurt so many times from some previous connection that they really trusted and like poured their heart to. So it's like it feels like you're still healing and working through that, Taurus. 8 of Cups. Yeah. Um to me, some of you, this is about like feeling embarrassed or feeling like bad or insecure in some way about the way things played out, like feeling like they could have played out differently and feeling like sort of ashamed about that. But this is like your reminder that you have nothing to be ashamed of. Like with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like life is playing out however it's playing out. And try not to doubt these connections that you've met before. Try not to doubt the love that you've felt from previous connections before. And perhaps really, like, instead of trying to like put up a wall and like prevent yourself from feeling embarrassed or feeling sad or feeling insecure or like whatever it is, it might be a time to really honor yourself, embrace your true feelings, even though it doesn't necessarily feel good to, like, for example, feel sad. But it's like being more honest about your feelings might melt the fire that's like keeping up a wall, like a firewall, you know? Like the water will melt, put out the firewall, so then you can actually like connect with your heart and and therefore connect with others with that heart. So we've got the 8 of Swords. These are all cards of like kind of being stuck in a way. Internally. So yeah, I feel like love life has been more um, difficult for you, Taurus, um, with opening up your heart, um, freeing yourself from. It's like you create like friendship connections. So you have people that are close, but not too close. Something like that. Um, and this is just like your reminder that like it's okay and that it's safe to get close. It's safe to be closer. Um, to open up to those to like something deeper. let's just get an advice card for you, Taurus, about all this. The moon card. It says the moon, water, number 18, Pisces. Subconscious, indecision, critique, sensitivity. So, yeah, tune into your more sensitive side. Be more sensitive. Feel. Try not to numb yourself. Feel things instead. You could very well be ready to feel some things that you maybe weren't ready to before, maybe from childhood or just whatever. It could be, obviously, well, this is the love reading, so it could be about a person. Yeah, there's a very specific connection that comes to my mind about this. I mean, there's a few connections I know out there, but like there's one that I feel very connected to in terms of like a Taurus energy. So it's like, damn, like, wow. This is some really weird confirmation because I just recently got to this point where I'm like, okay, like that connection, like it's not necessarily done with. I feel like no connection is ever just done with. I feel like the love you feel for someone is pretty much eternal. I think love truly is everlasting. But like I really made my peace with what the situation was presenting itself as, or what that individual presented the situation to me as. But like this makes me not so sure about that once again. I'm like, dang. But yeah, not trying to call anyone out. That's just something I'm noticing. And now we've got the moon literally twice. Look, moon and you can't read it, but the difference is that this card is moon and this card is the moon. So pretty much the same card, but this one says secrets, mystery, and cycles. So yeah, your advice is to trust the universe. Trust that there's a mystery here to be solved, that there's more to your love life than meets the eye, that it's not just going to be like people who are kind of close but not too close and just like platonic friendships your whole life. It's like there's definitely more for you to experience when it comes to your love life, especially if you truly want it and if you truly allow it. So that's the advice coming through. And I feel like you're going to be allowing it. Like the Wheel of Fortune is a card of allowing love or allowing the flow of fortune into your life. So maybe at the very beginning of April, you're still like recovering and like might not feel quite ready for opening up. You might keep an eye out and like it's interest, like it's like interested you or whatever. Like love's got you interested still. But you'll like kind of keep it a distance, so to speak. Whereas the middle of the month, you're like really getting the flow. And I feel like before you know it, suddenly you're like, you've already opened up again to connections. So it's like you become friends first, so to speak. To me, the message I'm getting, for some of you this might resonate with, is that there's someone that you have a deep connection with that you're like, you've kept a safe distance from, so to speak, or you've kept up a wall. And then it's like maybe you open up and you let down those walls and you, funny enough, just like end up as friends. And then there's like that potential for more that I'm getting at the very beginning of this reading that was with the like Five of Pentacles and Four of Cups. You're like, the potential's there, but I don't know. Like, we just got to this solid foundation, or like something more solid. We just got to something that's like not as shaky as before. Like these opportunities coming up could really make it shaky again. Like I could go back to the Nine of Wands and end up putting walls up again, and then yeah, then it would the friendship would be over yet again. Like the fun times. So it's like you really just, even though there's a deep bond or bonds, multiple, that you feel with someone or multiple people, you like it's like even though you feel that deeply, it's like it's almost like you just do better when it's more casual and like doesn't get too deep. But perhaps this connection or connections are naturally really deep. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope that was a good reading for you, Taurus, and I hope I tuned in properly. This is a very interesting number synchronicity. I decided that this was it, and I just checked the clock, and it's 4:44, and then it was like, and I clicked on it, and it was at the 46th second, so it was basically 4:44:44. I don't know. I just think that's really cool. Um, but yeah, once again, hope that resonated, and I hope you have a good April. Take care.